Chibante, okay? Thank you. Well, Bob Chibante, I'm currently vice chair on the fair board. Been doing that for about 8-9 years now, so we're still doing that. So Jerry asked me to speak something, so I didn't know what you wanted to say, so I can give you just a generalization of what's going on for right now. Any questions? We're good to go. One thing we brought up was about the fair, and the fair this year is going to be the 26th through the 29th of July. Currently, we finally got the paperwork in with the carnival. We had to work out some things with the carnival to get that done. We're also going to have a, it's called Circus Imagination. So it's going to be a kids circus, 3 tents, interactive things for the kids so they can learn circus things that they do. I don't know all what it is, but they probably do like acrobatics and juggling and all this. But this circus actually going to be doing that. And we also have a comedy show. It's also, he does stunts too, so it's not just a comedy routine. So it's going to be almost like the old variety show type deal going on. And currently we have reptiles coming in, we have the bulls coming back, and we're also looking for sponsors out there who want to promote their businesses or whatnot you can do. And that's where we're at with the fair. One thing we're doing right now is that we're proceeding with our master plan. It's been going through, as you know, with everything that happened, kind of had a roadblock there for a couple of years. And we're in the process of developing the convention center down there. And it's not a convention center that you think of like Portland, big huge. We don't have that space to do it, but it's so we can invite groups down here, so you can bring international groups, have a place you can have meetings, breakout rooms, and develop that. The Fairgrounds it's actually, a lot of people don't realize the importance it is to the economy of the entire county. One thing to kind of bring that into effect is that we have in 2 days, the movie 65 is coming out. You might want to watch that, because that was filmed in Curry County, some in Coos. And because we were here, it was closed down, they used the Fairgrounds to do the production and a lot of work there. And they brought nearly $1 million into the area. So that was 30 days. So that's what we're looking at, trying to develop the Fairgrounds, so we can get things like that to really help go with that. So if you have any groups that you're part of, eventually when we get down, we're going to have breakout rooms, the whole, where you can not have to break down your big meeting room. We're going to have the dining area, so we'll have all that. So it'll hopefully look really nice, and that's what we're moving forward to get down. It's a challenge. Everything's a challenge when you're working with a quasi-governmental agency, because you have to go through it as procedures. But we actually just last night hired an engineer of record to help the process go faster. We're looking at the first thing they're developing is going to be an RV park. And that would be projected income to the first time that the Fairgrounds will actually have some real income to take care of doing this, to do that.
And that's on the far west side of the Fairgrounds, right?
Yeah, it will be where the horse stables and the paddocks used to be. It was falling in disrepair, like everything pretty much was down there. It was funding a big issue. And the original thing for the stables was set up was for 4-H, for a horse, and there's no kids in the 4-H program that have horses anymore, and it was losing a lot of money for us, so the responsibility thing to do is try to find something else. We're still going to look at setting up temporary horse stalls, so we do have an emergency come in, we can house horses, like we did at the last couple of fires.
Yeah, they were looking at those, what do you call it, the hostel. They were going to have a hostel for summer for bikers and things. Is that still on the docket, or is that in the...
Look at where we're rebuilding the dorms for that. The dorms historically have been used for firefighters when they come in during the summertime and do that, but we're trying to look at it so we can have some more, hopefully do like a youth group comes in and wants to do it, and we can have them all stay in one place, sort of like what the Lobster Creek camp is, but we'll have it here in town to do that. Hostels was something remotely doing that, but you didn't want to put yurts up and everything to do that, at least not down there, so right on the water.
So are you talking the horse stables, those 2 buildings that have stalls on each, you walk down the middle and there's stalls on each side?
Yes.
That's gone away?
Well, it's still hanging in there,
Okay.
but we're going to remove that. The paddock areas were not properly built to do that, so.
So people don't house their horses down there anymore.
It's been about 2 years now, people haven't had horses. Boy, it's a quiet crowd, not many questions. You raised your hand almost and did that.
Do you guys have a meeting for the fair yet?
No, the thing where actually we're still putting out for things, so you can contact the fair, you can send it to the Curry Fair manager if you have a thought for a thing. We're getting ready to develop that. We're also looking for, trying to do it a little differently, is inputs for grand marshals. So if anybody has an idea who they want to nominate for grand marshal, send it in with a little bit of note to explain why you think that should be done. And we're trying to look throughout the whole county. So this is Agnes, Port Orford, Brookings, all that, because we are a county fair.
And they're looking at building the greenhouse down there as a...
Yeah, that's another fantastic thing we got going. Yes, the Master Gardeners, I was discussing with Carol while she was still here about, I think it would be a good relationship to have Master Gardeners, since they do some of their programs at the fairgrounds and with OSU. So we're going to build them just to the west of the OSU building. And it's going to be set up to have a demonstration garden. It will also be available for something during a fair that people can walk through. Another thing they're going to be doing is so we can work in a partnership is to plant mother plants throughout the property so they can get propagation off the plants, and we have some nice landscaping, some native plants.
Can you talk about the EV charging station?
The EV charging station is a new thing that came up with the Economic Development Department, and it was something that was discussed in our master plans, but now don't have all the details on it, but it was presented to us with Economic Development with Summer Madison. Came down, and we're looking at putting 6 permanent EV units out there in front of the fairgrounds, which would also be, as a convention center, be an attraction to say we have this available. There's nobody between Port Orford and I think it's Bandon and Brookings. So we'll have a place which would also help involve tourism for people who have another reason to stop here. So everything we're trying to do is so we can work with a partnership with the county to help development, the economic strength of the county. And I'd actually like to create 5 jobs and it would be fantastic.
Can I add really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Part of the conversation with the EV charging stations to try to help get that going at a couple different locations and they landed on the event center. It is also going to be revenue
Yes.
for the event center, which is really great. They pay a 10-year lease
Yeah.
on all 6 spots. They'll pay out to the event center, so it's revenue.
There you go.
So you're working on something with Rusty over there about charging the car, they can go over and get a coffee here.
You got it all made. You do that. So,
I think that's a big thing with the charge. One of the most important things of a charger station is you have to have something for people to do for 20 or 30 minutes and people are going to charge.
that's the whole thing, try to develop, get it close by, and it's the whole thing. We have a great place here to live, a great place to visit, and you want to give people more reason to stay. And it was back in the day, when we were talking about with chamber and stuff, what we're doing is, and the promotions was like, just people stay one more day. That helps you, that just helps everybody, just have it, it's amazing, but one more day of people staying around, so we give them something to do that they can get it done, that will work.
I just want to say, back in 1993, a group of 20 to 25 people did an event ride from Canada to Mexico with a day off in Gold Beach. We stayed at the fairgrounds. I know many of the younger people that were riding their bikes in that event walked up and down Ellenburg and patronized a lot of the establishments that sold alcoholic beverages and gambled, and I'm sure we spent a fair amount of money. That we were there for 2 nights, and it was, we used tents, but having the other facility available does make it more attractive for other people who did that.
And it'd be a combination too, when we do wind up doing the RV park, there's going to be a section set up for tent camping and bicycle, so you can do bicycles. So, the last time I heard anything on bicycles, it was a $4 million industry for bicycle tourism up and down Highway 101. So yeah, it's very good to take advantage of that.
This might be a tough question, but do you guys have a time frame on the master plan? in and how long it's all going to take? I know it's a lot of work, but how long it will take before the event center is complete? That must be
We have some thoughts about speeding it up, but it's not something that's ready to develop yet. It needs to be done sooner rather than later, and it is a challenge. And the challenge that we've been facing is a lot of is trying to get these quotes, get contractors to come out to do some work, get it done. But a lot of this work that we're needing to get done is probably beyond what most local contractors can do. It's not used to working on that big of a structure. And we figured we're going to go from Gosha all the way over to Showcase, and mostly a two-story building. So you have big rooms down at the bottom, we still can use for fairs, still can use fence, and then have break-off rooms up on top so they can have the means to do that. We're trying to push it, trying to get it done, and so it's a work in progress, but we are making some progress getting it done. So we just got our semi-final plans getting down here to do that, how we want to lay out and design this. And so we try to keep more aggressive.
How long are your contracts where you have people do this? They're all fully limited, right? You have to have fully salaries paid by everybody that's contract working on.
Yeah, if you have a certain dollar amount, we have that house do that. So all our contracts still, even though not totally a county entity, everything has to go through our county rules, county programs, county council reviews everything. You know that, so we get that done. But yeah, and it's all good wage jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And if people do come from out of town, they will stay in other places. And when you support a program like this, sometimes everybody looks at how can I get something back from them fast from my sponsorship. And it's not always about getting return for your investment the next day. But if somebody is down there that you do business with, or your neighbor has somebody to do that, eventually that comes around, so we all benefit from that. So it may not be the same day, but it will come over on that.
Well, I think the Fairgrounds need to get a round of applause for what you did with the warming centers. Being able to get those contacts through so fast and do what you've done.
Well, thank you. All fairness, this was the Orca and the Bald River Foundation got a hold of Caitlin. Caitlin got a hold of us, and it went in through the evening time, and everybody got it done and ready to work with it. And haven't done so. It's like we just made the facilities available, and everybody did. And you guys all helped out. Did a fantastic job. So now that you're all happy, you all have to give another $1 again. Yes, Jim.
Yeah, Bob, for those who don't know, just a little bit, how many employees do you have? What's the status of the fair manager? How many, fair board members are there, their vacancies? Just a little bit about, and also it might be interesting to comment, you did a little bit on your facilities and the extent to which there's some maintenance issues.
Okay, we'll call it some maintenance issues. Do that. That's the policies of how we have to follow things. Is what makes it challenging. The event center does not make enough income to support our own employees and having to follow all the rules that we need to follow. So we actually have right now one part-time grounds person, and we have the event center manager. So we have a fairgrounds manager, it's Caitlin. And we just lost our little office person. So we have basically 2 people and 7 board members. And most of the board members, myself included, we volunteer a lot of time. We put a lot of time in that. It's not just show up to a meeting to have a discussion. It's getting your hands dirty, and I was just down there doing some work. And we're getting close to having our kitchen back together. And there has been no funding per se since the early 90s for the fairgrounds from the general fund, and there's still no money from the general funds. The only money that we get right now is was the passage of the TLT, and that helps supports what we're trying to do these projects. And this money that we're going to get from is all reinvesting into infrastructure. So it'll be a return on income, not just throwing some more money into the fire. So that's why we're really trying to get stuff done. The arena itself has you can call it a skylight about the size of the moon up there. And it is restricted use for it, so if they're under certain weather conditions, we're not allowed to use it, so that's why it's closed part of the time. That's why I was able to use it during the fair, because we had an engineer give us the rules where we can use it. Thanks to the city of Gold Beach, that we got our roofs on Dosha and Showcase fixed, and of course the siding that we did. When they were doing the work and doing the painting of the building, somebody put their finger through the siding on Showcase building, so we did it. So the city of Gold Beach has a TLT fund, Transient Lodging Tax Fund, that they give a percentage to the fairgrounds because they understand the importance and value of the fairgrounds to the area. And it's been great support for them to do that. And now we're looking to do, everybody who trusted the stuff that passed this thing that we got through there, we want to make sure that we spend everything wisely and have a good investment, so it benefits the whole county. And some people will say, well, it's in Gold Beach, or it's a central county. Well, if you go back and remember the Cape Blanco Music Festival, that was a big event, and there were people staying in Brookings to do that. They went from one end of the county to the other end of the county, and that's the kind of things we're looking to do. Not to that scale, because that's pretty crazy to do. But that's what we're trying to look for the value of it. So we replace these buildings. It's very antiquated. The Dosha still has the old look to it, the old warehousey type feel. So we're going to be working on that to get that part of it done. But you can see what we did with Showcase. Those that were in there the other day, fixed it up really nice. It's an enjoyable venue to host a little event and get done. We're trying to get that there. So currently, a lot of things are, when it went on, was talking about the kitchens and doing that. We had our walk-in refrigerator was rotted through, and we finally just got a new one in here. So we're working on putting that all together. It's almost hooked up, and we're redeveloping that kitchen to get it done so we can host those type of things. So it'd be in time for, let's say, when you have the high-end health thing or the healthcare foundation doing that, it should be ready hopefully by then to get it done. So we're really pressing, trying to get it done. It seems like, sometimes it seems very frustrating because if you're in a private industry, it would have been done already. But we have procedures that we have to follow. We're trying to get it done, and we're trying to do the best job that we can and be responsible for it. That's the whole thing. And, it's earn the trust of everybody. But I think a lot of people understand the value of it. It's still not out there. People don't realize. I said, and that's the biggest fact. When people see that movie, and you tell them, oh, it's the statistics came from the state of Oregon when they sit there and do this. They have to. A movie industry has to report their expenses. We had a gas station in town sell 600 gallons of diesel in a day. So, that's stuff that you don't see, and that came in March. So the value is there. So we're trying to do that. We're trying to get it done and just a good experience. And then just follow through on the first full-fledged fair in a few years, the first fair for a lot of our board members, and the first one for our office staffs, and I think they did a fantastic job putting it together. We've got a concert everybody enjoying. We're hoping to feed on that this year to get it on.
Do you have any other large events other than the fair coming up this year?
For us, there is discussion talking about trying to bring the wine festival back in.
And the Brew Fest.
And the Brew Fest. Well, the Brew Fest was, and the thing that with a lot of people don't understand is the Wine Fest was actually when the Wine Fest started way back when it was a group of people. Then it moved into the chamber, and then it moved chamber and another group kind of worked together to get this done. And so it wasn't really the fairgrounds in it, but we see how that is. And some people would say, well, that's an event for local people. People actually plan their vacations.
Yes.
To come to the wine festival, and came 27 years before it stopped, they came to every single one. And so looking at that, trying to look at another festival with the focus of bringing people in. So we have little things that are going on here and there to kind of keep an interest, a little bit of cash flow, and work with that, but we are looking for bigger type festivals and events. One thing is hopefully we can do is related to the industry is do a lumberjack show.
Wow.
And that you can bring steel, Husqvarna do that, and they have these things, and that will bring people from all over the place to do that too. So we are looking at some things, but we also still have the limitations of what we have, like a water leak that we have a pipe turned off because we've spent a couple weeks trying to find it. We can't find where it's at, but it's dropping out 5 gallons a minute, and that adds up to your bill, so we just turn that water off. So we are looking at trying to do it, and if anybody wants to work with it, has ideas to come in, we're willing to work with it. Anybody to try to figure out how to get it done. Because a lot of stuff, the fairgrounds used to be just the host, but we're actively trying to find a way to be a generator of some of these bigger things, but we are going to look at bigger things, like trade shows.
Thank you.